So at what age do the Amish get baptized? Amish believe in adult baptism, and this is one of the main issues in sort of their origin. They're part of a group known as Anabaptists, which was originally considered a derogatory name, meaning rebaptizers, but that's kind of what they're called today, along with Mennonites and Hutterites and Brethren. John Hostetler, a scholar of the Amish who was raised Amish himself, wrote that they then argued that sin entered the world with a knowledge of good and evil, and since an infant does not have this knowledge, it cannot have sin. So that's why the Amish feel strongly about adult baptism and it being an adult choice. So Amish typically get baptized between the ages of 18 and 22. It can happen a little bit younger than that. I've heard of Amish getting baptized as early as like 16, but it's not really common. It can happen later than that. There's not like a official endpoint when you have to be baptized by. So, some Amish get baptized, when they get into their mid-20s, or maybe even a little later than that. Usually they're going to know by that time. Being baptized is required to be married in the Amish church. So if you want to marry another person who's Amish, you both need to be baptized within the church. Okay, they don't do interdenominational marriages. So that can be a motivating factor for some people as well to become baptized. Preparing for baptism, Amish youth will take classes leading up to the baptism. This is traditionally over about an 18-week period, a meeting every 2 weeks in that time, so about 9 meetings. The Amish have church every second week, not every week. That's their long-standing tradition. The classes actually take place during church service, so the group will actually go off with the ministers, the baptismal group, to have the instruction, and that's actually while the opening singing of the church is going on, so the opening singing from the Alsbund. How many Amish youth choose to be baptized? And sometimes people are surprised that it's actually quite a high number. It can be up to 85%. In some groups, even over 90% choose to be baptized. Some groups, it's less than that. But the average is somewhere in the ballpark of around 85%. So 8 or 9 out of 10 Amish youth choose to be a part of this church as an adult decision. So that's one reason the Amish have been growing so rapidly. Most of the people that are born Amish choose to become and remain Amish. Now, what if you don't want to be Amish anymore? And this happens sometimes. If you choose to leave the church, different Amish churches handle it differently, but there is a process there's excommunication. There's actually, before that happens, the ministers and other members of the church will try to counsel and meet with the person who's, maybe someone who's, bought, technology that they're not, the Ordnung, the rules of the church does not permit. They'll meet with the person before that happens and will try to counsel them to stop doing whatever they're doing or put away or get rid of the technology that's not permitted in the church. If someone is excommunicated, different churches approach that differently. For some, that's basically a lifetime condition, a word named Meidung. That's the word for shunning, church discipline. For some, that goes on for your entire life. In other churches, they have a softer, let's say, version of this, where if you leave the church, but then you decide to join a different church that's, let's say, related to the Amish, might be a Mennonite church or Beachy Amish, that has a lot of things in common with the old order Amish church that you're from in terms of the beliefs, then that can be, after a period of time, say a year, then you're not in the bond anymore.